Almost every day in my family, which is me, my wife Tatiana, and our 18-month-ish old daughter Frida, almost every day for our family begins with a walk in our neighborhood. And as we're walking around, Frida likes to greet everything. She waves at everything. She waves at the dada. It's a dog for the uninitiated. Dog. She waves at the berber, the birds. She sometimes even waves at a falling leaf or something, just whatever catches her fancy. She especially loves waving at planes. Anything that makes sound overhead, she will just immediately, before she even clocks it, she's just, I'm going to wave at you. I know you're somewhere. She waves. And on these walks, I am realizing that Frida is teaching me quite a bit about what it means to live a life with one's mind set on the Spirit. She is always ready to stop what she's doing and greet. In Paul's letter to the Romans, the portion that we read today, he exhorts the listener to set their mind on the Spirit and to therefore not set their mind on the flesh. To understand more what Paul is really asking of his readers and us today, we need to do a little digging to find out what he means by flesh and what he means by mind, because they're not quite what we mean when we say those things. The word flesh appears a lot in Paul's writings. Like any good writer, he has some themes that he likes to draw on across his works, and flesh is one of them. For Paul, the word flesh doesn't literally just mean all physical things or all flesh or all of our bodies. He uses it as a placeholder for everything that is sort of negative about our lives, anything that draws us from the love of God, anything that causes us pain, the very, very painful parts of being real human beings with real bodies. That's what he means when he's referring to flesh as that which passes away. He's a Christian, so he doesn't believe that created things are evil. He doesn't even believe that flesh is evil. Because he's a Christian, he believes that Jesus Christ was really human, had a real body. And as a Christian, he believes that that body was taken up into heaven and sits at the right hand of God. He's not telling us that all flesh is evil. What he's telling us is that it's not what you ultimately orient your life towards. We don't ultimately orient our life towards that which passes away, but towards that which endures, is eternal, is goodness itself. And that's what I think Paul means when he talks about setting our minds on the Spirit. So that's flesh. What about mind? Mind in the ancient world was not just your brain. It wasn't just that thing that you think with or your interior intellectual life. The mind was the seat of everything. The mind was the seat of all of your emotions, all of your thoughts, all of your will, your personality. They often thought about it residing here and here, but here too. So to set one's mind on the Spirit isn't just to sit quietly and think about it a lot. To set one's mind on the Spirit is to totally orient one's life towards the eternal, towards that which really matters in our lives. Okay, That's a big task, Paul. How do we do that? How do we actually do that? We have a few options available to us. One option that we try to do from time to time to set our minds on the Spirit is to do it through sheer willpower. And I'll give you one guess how far that one goes. If I were to try to use sheer willpower to set my mind on the Spirit and the Spirit alone, I think sometime in between walking from here to my seat, some other thought would come zinging into my head about what I need to do or what I forgot to do or what I'm worried about that would, laugh at my willpower and say, I'm just going to get right in there. So willpower, while honorable and heroic, usually doesn't last very long. So one of the best things that Christians over the millennia have found to set our minds on the Spirit are habits. Things that we learn to do over time that just become second nature. We all have habits whether we realize it or not. Some of them are good, some of them are bad, but they only take a couple of weeks, really, to form well. And then they're just kind of there. They take a little bit of maintenance. But Christians have found several habits over the millennia that help reorient our lives. One of the habits that we have in our family to reorient ourselves, especially in moments when we have an opportunity to get angry with someone else, is we have funny little phrases that we just say to interrupt our brain and try to be a little bit more understanding of someone else. When we encounter someone in public who's expressing a lot of anger or being really mean or just out of their minds, which happens from time to time, we say, "Oh man, they're having a really bad day." And instead of causing us to judge someone else, it really opens us up to, "Oh, man, they're just having a really bad day." When someone in our lives, a family member or a friend who just knows exactly how to push all of our buttons is doing that, we say, "Man, they are being so silly right now. They are being so silly." It doesn't take away the feelings, but it just kind of interrupts them a little bit and helps us stop. And then, finally, when we are driving on 620 or 35 or insert your most hated road here, and someone pulls a risky move within an inch of all of our lives, we say, "Man, I really hope they get to the hospital in time for the baby to be born." Certainly, they're going somewhere important right now. And even if they're not, it just kind of interrupts us a little bit. Maybe they are going somewhere important. Maybe they are having a really bad day. Maybe they are just being silly. Frida waving at everything, for me, reminds me to stop. When we're on our walks, we often stop to give Frida her breakfast, and we just enjoy all of our neighbors and our passersby. And no matter what her mother and I are talking about, whether it's what we're anxious about or what we forgot to do or how much stuff we have to do today or who we're mad at, in the midst of all that important conversation, Frida will just totally interrupt it, and she should, because we gotta wave at that plane. We have to stop and appreciate the beautiful things around us. So during this season of Alive in the Spirit, as Reverend Kathy said earlier, in between the sermon and the creed, we're going to have some time. Church is where we pick up, hopefully, some of these really good habits, where we practice them, where we start to get a feel for them, so that they can go out into our lives with us. During this time, you can receive healing prayer and invite God's healing presence into your life. And as you receive that healing prayer, your heart is going. And as you go out to the rock to light a candle, another ancient Christian practice, really stop. The candles that we have out there, that are the long, thin ones, are from Jerusalem. They're made of beeswax, as candles in that part of the world have been made for a long time. They smell wonderful. Really make a meal out of it. Light your candle, place it in the sand, watch it burn for a minute, and whatever you do with this time, give your heart time to recognize the Spirit, so that when we all go from this place week after week, we've got a little bit more practice, a little bit more aptitude to notice and to stop in the midst of our busyness and just Amen.